I'm John Eberhart. I was born and raised in Fairbanks. Basically, my family's been around here since 1922, so one of the older time families. I was on the city council before for 3 years. Took a little bit of a break, found I missed dealing the issues. And there are many issues. One thing I learned, those issues from A to Z, from alcohol-related problems all the way through to zoning. Not just sales tax, not just property tax. And I'm happy to talk about those at length if you'd like. I also was a government attorney for 6 years, so I know a lot of those issues that come before government. In my day job for the last 3 years, I've been the in-house lawyer for Fairbanks Native Association. We focus on a lot of issues that directly or indirectly impact this community, such as substance abuse, the chronic inebriate problem, trying to give advantages in education, particularly to Native children, a whole range of services to 8,000 Native members of this area. I'm also the Director of Human Resources. I oversee between 200 and 300 employees in 14 locations. So I have a pretty wide background, both in private business, in public service, and on the City Council, including Finance Committee and Chair of the Discretionary Funds Committee, that give me exposure to the issues, and I hope would give you a reason to send me back to City Council. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Wolfgang Falke. I'm a resident since 1969. Actually, we came up 68, and we were looking for some place to raise a family. And we liked it here. We bought a house and went back to New York, cleaned up the business. And since 1969 we are here, we had 5 kids. They were all born in Fairbanks, and we went through the schools, fantastic teachers. So it was really a good experience to raise a family, and I think it should continue so in the future. Unfortunately, right now we have 2 grandchildren, and my kids, they walk to school, to dinner on school and home. But right now we are just getting them there and picking them up. So things are not as good or safe as it used to be. And that is one of the major, actually the major issue I will address at council. It should have been in council. But I also run for the assembly. On both seats, and the reason is the so-called sales tax, property tax problem. There is a solution to that, and that is a property exemption. Right now, everybody knows we have a $20,000 exemption. Your house is assessed at $200,000, you pay only $20,000 on your individual home. But this is not enough. This is not sufficient enough of an amount to justify the so-called double property taxation. You pay your taxes when you direct to the city and to the borough when you pay your house taxes. But then you go shopping and you pay again property tax, because the shop owner, the business owner, they're not going to pay the taxes. It's part of their business expense. So you pay taxes twice. And the people that are really hurt too much with that double taxation are the individual owners. But the renter is also double taxed. The problem there is that the average apartment is assessed at about $50,000, while the average single-family house is assessed at close to $200,000. In other words, the homeowner pays about 3 times as much property tax than the renter, but both pay taxes twice. The fairest tax in uncertain terms is the property tax. Because if you say, well, let's have a sales tax, and the sales tax reduces the property tax, which does, but the consumer still pays the property tax, and the differential between the exemption is still the same. It's still unjustified. So what I would suggest, assuming the sales tax fails in the borough and the Proposition A fails in the city, I would make another proposition with a current tax rate with an exemption of about $150,000, or maybe even $200,000 for the house and $50,000 for the apartments. That would bring it really equal. And when you say, well, look, you can't do that, the legislature, they give you only $20,000, you can't go against the legislature. Baloney. The legislature has to conform to the Constitution. Any statute they pass which is contradictory to the Constitution is null and void. It is none of the legislature's business to tell the local government 20, 50, 100, whatever thousand. They have to eliminate that last sentence. Well, you have to stand up on your rights. The question is, why are those guys down there in June saying, well, you can have only $20,000? It is just greed. Who profits from that, not that exemption, is the large property owners. So I better that I quit at this point.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, I'm Steve Thompson. I've lived in Fairbanks for 42 years. I got here in 1965 in the U.S. Army at Fort Wainwright. I was honorably discharged in 1967. And for the next 33 years, I was at M&O Auto Parts, first as an employee and a manager, and eventually the sole owner of that company. Over those years, I was president of Youth Soccer Association for 2 years. I coached youth soccer for about 6 years. I was secretary-treasurer of the Fairbanks Youth Hockey Association and coached hockey for about 6 years. I was appointed to the Alaska State Workers' Compensation Board by Governor Hickel, reappointed by Governor Cooper, reappointed by started with Governor Sheffield, Cooper, then Hickel. For the last 6 years, my night job and day job has been city mayor. And that's why I'm running for city council. I feel that after 6 years of administering the budget and working with all of the departments in the city of Fairbanks, that I've got a lot of knowledge that I don't want to see lost to our community. I want to be on the city council to carry that knowledge forward. I know the successes and the failures, what's worked and what hasn't worked, what is needed, and I feel like being on the city council is giving a little bit more back to my community, so I am running for city council seat to seat.
Thank you.
Nelson Miles, lived in the city of Fairbanks for 40 years. He brought our family to Fairbanks in June, before the flood. Bought home over in Aurora, and you people left our Cheetah River through our room for 10 days. That's our introduction to this city. I'm running for city council seat D, primarily concerned with property taxes. We still have the highest property taxes in the state of Alaska. The ability of people with a $50,000 gross income or less being forced out of their, will be, are being forced out of their homes. The mill rate that we all talk about, we don't pay our taxes in mill rates. We pay them in hard-earned take-home pay. That's why I want property taxes lowered. That's my issue. Lower property taxes for everyone. I favor a tax that will. The city of Fairbanks grows from 33,000 to 55,000, 5 days a week, 6 days a week, with people coming into the city to go to work. The city property owners, the homeowners have to subsidize these people with their property taxes. That's why property taxes are my main concern. I understand the other problems, especially the mayor talking about. I've been to city council meetings about leisure. 85% of the meetings in the last 20 years. This is the second time I've run for public office. Basically, my job is to go out and plant signs in your yards. Nelson Miles, city council seat D, and asking for your vote. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all 4 of the candidates for coming over after previously speaking across the hallway there. So thanks again, and thanks for joining us. Are there any final announcements for the Interior East? Well,
not enough time. I understand.
Too late.
okay.
Yeah. People are gone.
And we are adjourned. Thank you.
Good luck. Good job, David.